So, I tamed every single creature in this game and I decided to make a zoo with them. Hi guys, Arindam here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a tour of that very same zoo. Let's get right to it. Because I am the creator, I am not allowed to use any of those rafts, so I'm going to be taking the back door, which is using this canoe. Alright, so let's get to the zoo. Now, if you have been following my different base videos in the various maps, you will note that I always try to make something new in every single video. And I was thinking, since Lost Island is the most primeval of all of the maps, so I thought I'm going to be making a zoo with them. I've already made a taxidermy museum, I've made a pyramid, I've made a villa, I have made a European farmstead, and I was like, okay, what is the one thing that I have not done? And that was the zoo. And here we are, coming close to the entrance of that very same zoo. Alright, I think we are at the entrance. Those are the markers. So we're just going to park our guy over here and get moving. Right, so this is the entrance of my zoo. If you are a visitor, then you would be using one of these crafts to come here. We'll all be sitting down and patiently awaiting the entrance to this very zoo. Now, could not get a fancy name for this. I thought Jurassic Park would be too common, so I just named it my own zoo. Alright, so here is the entrance of the zoo. I have intentionally kept it as simple and as unfashionable as possible because it's better to be understated than anything. Now, okay, welcome to Jurassic Park. Well, welcome to Arindam's zoo. Let's close the gate. We don't want unnecessary creatures to come in. And here we have the ticketing booth. We just get our tickets from there. There is no one here. Alright. Okay, I'm the only person. Anyway, so we have our free pick pass. Now we are going to see some of the creatures. Now I have constructed the zoo in various sections. The first section is the, well, mostly the kid friendly section with all of the really tamed dinos. So we have the Procoptodon here, prehistoric kangaroo. Now, before we head on further into the zoo, let us go to the information center. Okay, what is this? So, a Pachydinosaurus surrounded by Trudons, a typical scene from late Cretaceous North America. Well, that is true. These guys used to hunt Pachydinosaurus. You can even see those guys over there. One guy is chilling over there, the others are, I don't know what they are doing. They're supposed to move. I've kept them in wandering with a dino leash. They're not moving anyway. And we have our mantises. Two mantises practicing fights. Well, because that's what they do in Ark. They are great for dancing, by the way. So we have this mantis looking at us. We have this guy moving, and we also have a ghost. We have a ghost of a mantis. Look at that. This guy is actually moving. Look at those blue eyes. Right, right. Enough of jump scares. Let's go into the information center. So, this is the information center, and dinosaur fossils were found in various countries all across the globe, and based on the different countries' flags, I could put a couple of them here. Now, you will find that the countries like the US, Canada, UK, Australia, those countries are not here. The reason being, it would be difficult for me to actually paint flags of those countries. The option I could use is to have a JPEG file of those countries, and then convert that into a PNT file and then export that PNT file into one of these flags. But that is a totally different type of headache and I don't want to take it. So we have, let's see, we have India, Germany, Russia, this will be Argentina, this would be Yemen, this would be Ghana, and finally this would be either Nicaragua or Honduras from Central America. All in all, it's well represented. So we have Asian, European, Eurasian, South American, Asian, Central American, and African countries. Well, we don't have North America and Oceania, unfortunately, but nothing we can do about it. Right. So in the information center, we get to see all of the different fossils. So we have fossils for the Giganotosaurus carolini. We have one for this wyvern. We also have for Quetzal, Jerboa, and let's see, we have Tyrannosaurus trying to hunt a Brontosaurus, which would not be accurate because Brontos lived in Jurassic and Tyrannos lived in Cretaceous. We also have a Utahraptor, a Stegosaur. Here, this would be a Triceratops, and this is the Carnotaurus, which is looking a bit too big for the sake of the Giganoto. The interesting part about this information center is not only the fossils, not only the design of the information center, but what is in these various rooms. So, uh, I had actually gone to a book fair, the yearly book fair, and I had purchased a couple of books, 3 books in total. On all of them belong to Dorling Kindersley publications from Britain, and they were encyclopedias related to dinosaurs and prehistoric life, 2 of them, and one was about extant or currently living creatures. I think it's just called what, comprehensive history or comprehensive something about dinosaurs. Very good book anyway. It's their best book, by the way, from Dorling Kindersley. And I was thinking I could do something about these rooms. So initially I thought maybe I'm going to make these rooms as kind of like gift shops and other things, and then I decided gift shops would be too childish. I'm just going to be making it a zoo room about the geological tour. So in these rooms, we are going to go sequentially and find out the history of our planet. The first eon is called the Pre-Cambrian. It is from 4.6 billion to 541 million years ago, and the only creatures that were available at this time are bacteria and viruses. Basically, any unicellular life, eukaryotes or prokaryotes or whatever these things are called. So basically, single cell lives, not even insects. And as you can see, I have not put anything here. It's just an empty room with a red coloring. The red coloring denotes all of the magma and lava that formed basically the entire part of the earth. In fact, at this time, I don't think even water has come up, let alone terrestrial land. So, from the Precambrian, we are trying to go into the Cambrian, and where microbes and arthropods evolve. And now we have our first Ark creature, Trilobites. These guys used to exist from the Cambrian right up till I think somewhere around the Carboniferous period. So these are very ancient creatures and they have lived for a long, long time. Cambrian is also the period where water started forming naturally and there were vast swathes of ocean. The plant life was non-existent and basically the land mass was completely devoid of any kind of life except viruses and bacteria. So trilobites of various sizes were the only major creatures found in the Cambrian seas and oceans. But eventually we went to the Ordovician, which is from 485 to 444 million years ago, and we get the first instance of fishes and terrestrial plants. Euripterids and all its variants started appearing in the different oceans. That is also why I have color coded all of these as ocean colored, navy blue. From the Ordovician, we went to the Silurian, and for that Silurian, we come here. The Silurian, as you can see, is color coded with even more blues because the Silurian is the time when jawed and bony fish started to evolve. which would eventually evolve into the Dunkleosteus later on. So we have 444 to 419 billion years ago, and we also get different types of arthropods like the spiders, scorpions, and also eurypterids again. We do not have any fish in Ark that corresponds to this timeline, and hence I have not put them. After the Silurian, we get into, well, we can either exit if we are too tired of geological stuff, or if you are interested, we're going to head on to the Devonian. Devonian is again a very important period between 419 to 359, and it was the land colonization by the plants. Two very important creatures were the Dunkleosteus and the Ammonite. From the Devonian, we head into probably the most important period in Earth's history, and it's called the Carboniferous. And Carboniferous is color coded in green because this is the age of amphibians and land mammals. Carboniferous is the most important period in Earth's history because it is the time which whose plant life and rocks, everything eventually turned into the coal, petroleum, gasoline, and all the natural gas that we extract and harvest in our times. Everything, all of those petrochemicals, everything happened because of the Carboniferous period. And it is the time which we call the age of amphibians and insects. So we have the Diplocolus, the Arthropleura, which is, by the way, a millipede and not a centipede. We also have the Meganeura dragonfly. I have a very old book from Oxford University Press. It's called Prehistoric World, and I this entire part of it were actually inspired by that book because I bought that book around 15-20 years ago. I think it's over 20 years ago, not 15. So I bought the book about 2 decades ago, and that book had all of these different eons and epochs, and it had all of these things, all these arthropods and diplocolors. So while Ark released in 2015, I actually knew about these creatures from when I was a little child, back in the 1990s. Right, from Carboniferous, let's head on to the Permian period. Permian period was a very dry period, dry and hot period, and it and the Permian is noted for being the period of the reptiles. And the reptiles actually uh, evolved into two types: the synapsids, or the mammal-like reptiles, which will eventually evolve into mammals, and the sauropsids, which are the normal reptiles. And of course, the Permian period is known for this guy, Dimetrodons and Moschops. After the Permian, we are going to head to our age of dinosaurs, the Triassic. Dinosaurs and the first true mammals evolved now here. We also had a couple of creatures from the Permian like Lystrosaurus. We also had our Dilophosaur, and we had the appearance of marine reptiles like the Ichthyosaurs. From the Triassic, we head into the Jurassic, which is when the earliest lizards started coming up, and the dinosaurs also reached to its maximum potential. By maximum, I mean maximum in terms of variety, because Cretaceous was a much shorter period compared to the Jurassic. We get the Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, we get the Diplodocus, and we get this guy. This is a Liopleurodon. But while the Triassic's oceans were swarmed with ichthyosaurs, the Jurassic oceans were actually swarming with plesiosaurs and their short-necked pliosaur cousins, of which Liopleurodon is one of them. By the way, if you have watched any of the BBC documentaries, you will note that Liopleurodon is also called Predator X. Okay, now that we have head from the Jurassic, we are going to go into the Cretaceous. Yes, Cretaceous is the time when flowering plants started to evolve and the dinosaurs reached their largest size. So we get Triceratops, T-Rex, Giganotosaurus carolini, we have Mosasaurs. So in the Cretaceous, the ocean still had plesiosaurs and pliosaurs, but they were eventually superseded by the mosasaurs like Mosasaurus, Stylosaurus, and well, them. The most common pliosaur would be the Kronosaurus, and even the Kronosaurus would be much smaller than a Mosa or a Tylo. Right, so Cretaceous caused the. There were many reasons which led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. Some said it is the volcanic eruption. Some said it is the meteorite falling on the earth. Some say it is the flowering plants which caused diseases, but we don't know. So once the dinosaurs were extinct, we head into the Paleogene period, and the first of them were the Paleocene epoch. It's the time in which we get Carbonemys, terror birds, and Titanoboa. Next, we have the Eocene epoch, and where we had the Basilosaurus, a large snake-like predatory whale. These guys were not friendly, by the way. They would eat anything they could find, including sharks. Now we come to the Oligocene epoch. Oligocene epoch is where gigantic megafauna in the form of parasitotheriums actually evolved. Now we head into the final ones. We get the Miocene epoch. The Miocene epoch actually has a lot of different types of animals, but I am going to be specifically saying it for the Carcharodontis megalodon and the Megapiranha. That is why I have color coded it as navy blue. Next, we come to the Pliocene epoch. This starts the Neogene period, or present. More or less, you can think of Neogene as present times. So, Pliocene epoch, we had Chalicotherium and Doedicurus. We also had the Mesopithecus. It's the next epoch, which would be called the Planet of the Apes, monkeys. So, in this epoch, this is the very famous epoch, Pleistocene. It's also called the Ice Age. And Pleistocene epoch had Dinopithecus, Gigantopithecus, which was a giant orangutan-like ape. We also had mammoths, woolly rhinos, and saber-toothed cats, like the Smilodon over here. This would be ideally the scenario for the Planet of the Apes. Next, we finally come to us, which is the Holocene epoch. We are here. We first started as hunter-gatherers with fur armor, and later we moved into riot armor. And thus, we got a brief history of our planet. Now, let's take a look at the different creatures we have. So, these are the mantises. Oh, wait. You will find that there is lot of empty space here and there. This space I've kept it reserved for Fjorder and any future maps that add new creatures. So now we have seen the Pachyrhino, we have seen the Procoptodon. Next we see this guy, Morellatops. What is this? Oh, this is the Camelsaurus. Due to how small the space is, I could not get enough space to set them to wander with a dino leash, and hence they are kind of like static. On this side, we are going to get the Kentrosaurus. The Kentrosaurus, which surprisingly are not aggressive here. Kentrosaurus here, again from the Jurassic. And because we have Camelosaurus here, we should have the Thorny Dragon just beside it. So here we have the Thorny Dragon. They're chilling out in the morning. This is a viewing platform I had made long back. By the way, this section of the zoo, this is the first section I made, and that is why the enclosures are kind of small. And I have intentionally color coded them with black over these orange representing bronze and copper. And at night, thanks to the brown light that I put here, it actually looks very good. So we have Kentrosaurus here, and I think this would be the Stegosaurus. Now, if a particular dino has lots of variants like aberrant variants, Rockwell variants, X Genesis variant, Tech variants, I have put every single variant in the enclosure. So we are going to get normal stegos. This would be an aberrant stego. That's a Tech stego. That's a Tech stego over there. This is a normal stego, and I think these two are aberrant stegos. On this side, we have the Doedicurus, the armadillo. They're again not moving. Maybe they are still sleeping. Okay. So we have a Stygimoloch and a Styracosaurus also in these enclosures, which means I need to come here to this enclosure. So this is the enclosure for the Pachycephalosaurus and the Stygimoloch. I think that's a Stygi over there with that coloring. Yes, these are Stygi. This Stygimoloch skin has come from the Jurassic World 2 film, I believe. And these are the normal Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus. And, well, let's see. Pachycephalosaurus used their skulls as battering rams. True. They were mostly used for fighting between males to attract mates, and sometimes also used as defense like this. And the Styracosaurus skin is a skin for the Triceratops. We're going to see them when we come over there. So we get the Triceratops, the volcanic Triceratops, the Tech Triceratops, and the Styracosaurus. On the other hand, we get the volcanic version of the Anki, the normal Anki, and I believe this one is an aberrant Anki. And we have one more guy sitting over there. Now, most of the times I make these videos in the mornings and around noon, but for this particular video, I definitely need to show you this part at night. And by the way, let me also point out that this zoo happens to be the only instance when I had used creative mode, because it is theoretically or practically not possible for me to make the entire zoo legit with every single creature in the game. That is, this is just a tiny portion of the zoo, by the way. I would say whatever you have seen is like 1/10 of the zoo or even less. So since I've already told you I've used GCM for this, I think I should also show you how this thing looks at night. So I'm just going to have to come here and paint it at night. You also saw the list of admin commands that I've used for this. So this is how my zoo looks at night. And it's only at night when this thing looks really beautiful. In fact, I plan on doing the entire zoo at night, by the way. You get the cool and calm brown light. By the way, the brown light is the most perfect light I have found out of all the lights present in Ark. Okay, now let's come here and see what is there. So we have three Triceratops, a herd of Triceratops defending against a T-Rex, which is a common sight though. Let's see. A trike herd defending against a T-Rex. This is a common sight in North America in the Cretaceous. What about the other pavilion we just saw? So we have, okay, we have a scene from the late Cretaceous, an ankylosaur defending against a T-Rex. This one actually came really good. If you were to just pop from here and see the light shining over the T-Rex and its pose, it actually looks really good. It came out actually much better than what I anticipated. And okay, so these two Triceratops mark the end of this section of the zoo. We have a whole bunch of other sections to go. We have to go there, which is the swamp section. We have the sauropod section over there. We have the section for the different cave critters and for the different raptors and other medium dinos. We have the beach dinos over there. We have the large herbivores over there. And on the other side of the island, I even have exhibits on in the volcano biome and the biome adjacent to that. We even have a gigantic aquarium containing every single uh, aquatic mount that is present in the game. But hey, I cannot extend this video to be a 2-3 hour video. It doesn't look good for YouTube also. And I also need to take a break for my voice. So I'll be seeing you in the next video, and in the next video we will be going to the left hand side, probably either the the raptor paddock or the paddock with the different insects. So with that being said, thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next one.